Welcome back, sober lovers. Last video we discussed the three types of men and how they viewed sex and relationships. Today we'll be discussing the three types of women so that the fellas can have a better chance at finding the right woman. As men, however, we are at an emotional disadvantage. We don't have the same type of conversations with each other about what qualities a woman must have in order to keep us fulfilled and satisfied in a long-term relationship. For the men out there looking to be in a healthy relationship, and for the men who are tired of dating women who give very little in terms of fulfillment, this video will provide some much needed insight into the dating world. It will also show you why you shouldn't have sex with a woman right away. Many times we enter into a relationship with someone and we completely ignore the signs that tell us to run in the opposite direction. In the first video, we talked about a special question that all men ask: easy or not? Today's video is for the men who prefer the answer to be not easy. Sometimes the women we date, however, can fool us into answering the question incorrectly. Let's start with the first type of woman. Miss Bear Trap. She's dangerous because she starts out as an ego boost. Wait, how is Miss Bear Trap an ego boost? Because she makes you feel needed. This type of woman is going to make sure you know all the ways that she needs you to support her and all the ways that you make her happy. Of course, we want the women we're dating to be happy. And when we're making them happy and we succeed in it, boom, it's a boost to the ego. The problem is that Miss Bear Trap will make you her sole source of happiness. She is overly dependent, and her primary goal in life is to be in a relationship. For her, it doesn't matter who she is in a relationship with or whether or not they truly care for her. All this is secondary to the existence of the relationship itself, and because she only feels valuable when she's someone's girlfriend. I know what you're saying. You're saying you can spot the desperate type female a mile away, and I don't doubt that's true. But because of the ego boost, we feel good continuing a relationship with this type of woman, and we don't mind initiating a sexual component to the relationship. Herein lies the trap. For Miss Bear Trap, sex is a binding contract. Regardless of time spent dating, regardless of how long you've known each other, once you have sex, she believes you have committed. Actually, everything you do with Miss Bear Trap is moving you towards commitment at an unprecedented pace. But sex is like a teleportation device. It's instantaneous. If you guys were casually dating beforehand, you are married after, at least in her mind. Think about it like this. You go to a restaurant and you buy your favorite meal. You notice the price for the meal is shockingly low. You don't mind giving a much larger tip because the food was so good. This occurs 3 or 4 more times, and then finally one day, after eating another delicious meal, you receive the check. Looking down at the receipt, you notice 2 extra zeros on the price of your meal. Confused, you ask the waitress what the deal is. What's going on? Why is the price increase so drastic? She tells you that they raised the price yesterday. How the hell can this restaurant justify such a drastic price increase in such a short amount of time? The Bear Trap follows this exact protocol. She's fairly easygoing to start with, and then before you have time to think, she begins placing unreasonable requests on you and your time. She goes from girl next door to stage 5 clinger in 3 dates flat. These women exist, and you'll never have a healthy relationship with one because she stakes her happiness in how much she needs you. Dating Miss Bear Trap is draining and daunting. You should avoid it at all costs. The second type of woman is the auction item. As men, every played out idea we ever have learned about dating and relationships tells us we should chase the auction item. We have to be the peacock in the room, or make enough money so the auction item looks past any of our flaws. Wanting to be with the auction item is the epitome of chasing pretty. The problem with dating an auction item is that you will have to continuously outbid other competition. See, the Bear Trap has no real belief in her own self-worth, but the auction item absolutely values herself. She thinks she is worth quite a lot and won't settle for anything less than what she's owed. She's always going to the highest bidder. She uses sex and relationships for material gain and or notoriety. The auction item is definitely emotionally unavailable. She's not looking to be intimate or to be a true partner in life. She believes she's a masterpiece, and if you associate with her, you better be able to afford the experience. The third type of woman is the archetype. Similar to her male counterpart, the architect, she isn't chasing affection and values a real connection. The defining features of an archetype are emotional stability and healthy financial planning skills. I've encountered a large number of auction items who have really good jobs but poor financial planning skills, so their sex and dating lives are still used for material gain. But an archetype will have no problem picking up the check every so often. In her mind, it's just an act of compassionate reciprocity. She's kind-hearted and self-assured. She's driven and down to earth, and she doesn't deal with BS. I was watching 2.5 Men the other day, the old version with Mr. Sheen, and something struck me as very poignant. Charlie had ruined his chances with a great woman because he didn't like how she tried to clean up his dirty habits, smoking, gambling, and eating it badly. After breaking up with her, he realized his stupidity and went to her house to make amends. Her roommate delivers the news that Charlie's ex had left town and hands him a letter. The letter says, and I quote, "I love you too much to try and make you into something you're not. I love myself too much to settle for the person you are." Just let that sink in. Only an archetype would say something like that. On the flip side, only an architect is man enough to digest something like that. That's the reality of love and relationships. The defining feature of a healthy relationship is the moral obligation felt to become a better person. It's the personification of the sentiment that I need to take care of myself so that I can continue to take care of you. Only the archetype will engender this type of feeling in a man. The bear trap will have you wanting less responsibility, not more, because they shovel it on you without pause. The auction item never requires any real growth unless it's in your checking account. To find love, you need to recognize and appreciate an adult version of feminine beauty. Again, I'm sure most guys have dated at least one of these types of women. So feel free to tell your story below in the comment section, and the next video in this series will tie everything together as we discuss the several ways people are rewarded for sexual activity. But until then, always remember to be safe, be open, and stay sober.